Hello, friends and family. It's us here at Poteet Homes Podcast. We have Jennifer with us today, and it's me, your favorite, Sonny Estrada, and we got some great information to give you today. We're going to be talking about the contract process. Jennifer, how about you kick in and tell us what you think about that process?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, today we're going to be talking about what it takes, to put in an offer on a house and the steps after your offer is accepted, both from the realtor side and the lending side. The more you know, the better it is throughout the process. So we're going to go into slight detail on each of the items that come up during a purchase.
Yep. So essentially what happens, guys, is we always talk about being approved or pre-approved. And so what that means is you're going to be getting with Jennifer. You're going to put your online application, and you're going to update, all the requested information they have on there, whether it's your name, basic info, basic income details. Once you get your pre-approval, that's actually happening with Jennifer. Then we go into being ready for the offer. So we go look for homes. You find the house you want. It's under contract. Now that kind of brings us to where we're going to focus on today. So we're under contract. So, what is some of the things that come to mind, Jen?
Earnest money. A lot of people we come across, hey, Jen, are there down payment assistance programs that y'all have available? Yes. We don't have that many funds in the account. What can we do? Okay, yeah, we can get seller to pay for closing costs, but you're still responsible for earnest money. Even if you're going to get it refunded at closing, you have to come with earnest money. And so typically, I know on the realtor side, what would you say earnest money ranges? Is it?
Yeah, so if we go ahead and do an offer of, say, $200,000, the typical range is about 1% of the purchase price. We got the qualifying letter from Jennifer. And, if you have another lender that also is okay, you get the pre-qualification letter of $200,000. We put an offer for $200,000 on a house that we like. 1% of that purchase price is $2,000. And that is the earnest money amount that is going to be expected in order to finally secure this deal. Now, there is another section of this where there's like an option period.
To elaborate on the earnest money too. So, Sonny, let's say, you have a client, you show them a house, they put in an offer, right? We know that it's going to be $2,000. How soon after the offer is accepted does that earnest money need to be turned in, and who does it need to go to?
Okay, great. That's actually a great question, and forgive me for missing that part. So, exactly. So, you have the $2,000. There is a title company that is involved here. So, that $2,000 will be written in a check form. And it will say, for an example, key title. You'll make it out to key title and you'll memo it, earnest money 123 Avenue H. And so that way, when we deliver it to the title company, it's, has all your information on there. It's got the memo, so everybody knows what this is for. Now, kind of correlated with that is we have, I think it's 3 days in order for us to get that earnest money to the title company. Of course, we don't want to really mess around too long, right? We want to get it there within 24 hours typically. But per contract, we have technically up to 3 days on that part. And I know we mentioned the option period.
Yes, option.
Do you think, okay, so the option period, now the earnest money locks in the contract. Now we have an investigation period is the way I like to look at it, and it's called the option period. Jennifer, what are some typical, time ranges that an option period could be?
Well, I know nowadays realtors try to lower that time period to get their offer accepted because, there's a lot of buyers out there right now and few homes. And so if you lower your option period, you're more likely to get your offer accepted. But typically, what would you say, 10 days is normally what?
Yeah, and it kind of goes together because 10 days, yes, a seller may want it reduced, but it kind of, the inspectors are also backed up. So 10 days is kind of the fair, happy medium. And of course, in a market where there's a lot of competition, those days may be minimal, and you may have to have an inspector that's on your hip that could go quickly, and that's what people like us, Jennifer and I, professionals here at the Poteet Homes, we have those resources to get for our clients. And so a lot of times, that is where we see our best, I guess, capabilities come through, is where our relationships are at and whatnot, and fighting for our clients, every step of the way.
So, Sonny, during this option period, right? So if you're in an option period, you're able to get your inspector in there.
Right.
Let's say, it's not a new built home. There is minor issues. What can the client do during this time?
Yeah, you're right. So 10 days, say we get 10 days as the option period. We get the inspector in on day 3 because he's available 3 days later. Well, he's going to give us a comprehensive list of items that he found that are, worth mentioning. So that could be as simple as leak under kitchen, that could just be repaired.
Switch not working.
Right, a light switch doesn't function correctly. Even a fan.
Caulking, we've seen caulking.
Yeah, exactly. It's just shingles, right? A lot of times the roof needs, some addressing, just a whole bunch of lists. And whatever that inspector comes up with, you as the buyer, and we have the capabilities to go in there and request some items to be repaired. If we see major items, that is where we typically want to focus: AC, roof, foundation. If any of those triggers come up, we're automatically kind of, white flag, red flag, whatever you want to say. But then if not, then we go through these, lower level type repairs that maybe we could ask for the seller to help us with. Okay. And, and essentially that's how that kind of rolls.
Okay, and for the option period as well, I know sellers, let's say it was a major issue like the foundation or roof. Mm-hmm. I know you've worked with clients to where the sellers credit them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or get the work done and then it's paid at the end somehow. I don't.
So, yeah, for an example, if there's a roof that needs to be done and the seller, right, selling the house, knows about this issue and is being reasonable, so the buyer will request that a new roof be, kind of installed. And so if that seller does not have the funds to pay out of pocket for that roofer to finish his job, there are sometimes contractors that will go out and do this work for them and wait the 2 or 3 weeks to get paid at closing. And that kind of it's a good thing to have, right? So we have those contractors. We are able to reach out to trusted contractors that could wait 2 to 4 weeks to get paid. And that is another area where we shine here at Poteet Homes when we are representing our clients.
So, Sonny, let's say, okay, so the seller doesn't want to repair these major issues, Can they get their earnest money back and their option money during this option period?
That's right. So, okay, so we got the inspection at day 3. We make our list, we submit it, and say it's day 5 already. And so we still have 5 days of option period. The seller reviews the amendment. We're going to be sending an amendment requesting these repairs. So the seller reviews it for a day. It's now day 6, and they decline it. Well, it's well under our 10-day option period, so we could get a fully refundable earnest money back and essentially, walk and go find another home that is a bit more, pleasing, or, where there's not those issues. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the option money, though, is non-refundable.
Yeah. So the option money will be $10 per day. So, for example, we had a 1% earnest money, which is $2,000, and we will then pay $10 per day for option period separate. So total invested in the home to reserve it per se is $2,100. If we, terminate within the option period, then essentially that $100 is, gone, and that's what you spent to get your option.
And too,
period.
I know we didn't mention it, but that option money, does it go as well to title, or does that go directly to the seller but delivered at title? How does that work?
No, well, so that is what's happening now is it's all collected together. So in that check that you have with your earnest money, we will include to the title company the option money. So it'll be a total of $2,100 to Key Title at 1234 Avenue H, and that's how that would go. Okay,
and so let's say offers accepted, you go through your option period, seller agrees to make the changes if there's any, and so now you're under contract, you're past your option period. What's next?
Right. So essentially, we have already got our option period. We want to make sure we get a survey in between that time somehow. We want
If the
to,
sellers don't already have
if
it.
they don't already have it, we want to make sure we got it ordered. The survey is very important, so that way we could review, the document and make sure that whatever property we are purchasing is going to be exactly what we're expecting. Now, one thing that we can't forget is we got the inspection. We now handle the survey, but the appraisal, and I think that's kind of a big deal nowadays because, we just want to make sure, right, that the appraisal is
Yes, and so guys, the lender will always handle the appraisal for you. They will request it. Turn times. That's probably the longest thing in the loan process, which is typically around 3 to 4 weeks right now on our end. We actually, how would you say, sub it out. An appraiser goes out there, they value the home for you. So this is not a value, we come up with, or the seller, if they were willing to sell it for 500,000, but it only appraises for 4. Well, we're only gonna lend you up to what it appraises at. So appraisals are very important, and a lot of times right now you see buyers, hey, they want to offer 10,000 over asking price, but these sellers are very nervous because of the appraisal. So if it doesn't appraise and you don't have the cash in your account to cover the difference, then they've just wasted their time. And so you'll see a lot of sellers, maybe yes, they'll accept $10,000-$20,000 over asking price, but I guarantee that's probably going to be cash over asking. And so just a little important thing to remember when you're looking for a home or interested in putting in an offer.
Yeah, and for the buyer, it's their duty to pay for the appraisal too, right? So they'll have the earnest money 2,000, they'll have the option money of 2,100,
and then they'll even have the inspection. So inspection is
like
not
$400.
Yeah, you don't have to. You're not required to do an inspection, but it is highly recommended.
Sure.
Yes. So that way it's no surprise to you, what this house, because they'll go in and literally check everything. They check your plumbing, your electrical, AC, flooring, paint, caulking. I mean, you name it, they check it. It's their job to note everything, and then again, you go back and decide which items you'd like the seller to take care of.
Exactly.
So yeah, you have your inspection, and
so
then
2,100, and then the
appraisal.
25. Now we're told at 2,500.
Yes.
Then
So appraisals cost anywhere from 500 to 550.
So $3,000,
depending on the lender.
Yep.
They all have their certain price, but that's typically what it's around. And then you're gonna have.
Well, I think it's important that you have the $3,000, but even though you may have them in a down payment or program, or if they're veterans, they still at least have to have that money.
Yes, they do. And so again, it can get refunded to you at closing, but you do have to have these funds up front. So even if we do have you in a DPA and sellers paying all of your closing costs, you're still going to have your earnest money, your option money, your appraisal money, and then all of this can get refunded to you at closing. So a survey. I know you talked briefly about survey. That can go on the seller side or the buyer, and that's up to your agent, like Sonny, to write it in the contract. A lot of the times the sellers already have this, and sometimes they don't, though. We've come across where they don't. In your contract, it'll state who is responsible for providing it. Doesn't have to be the buyer, but you want to make sure, though, if it is the seller, that we either get that for them or request it. You have a title policy. Again, that can be paid by either the buyer or the seller. A lot of times, if you're asking for a lot of closing costs, you want to make sure that, the buyer is going to cover both the title and the survey. You can talk to your agent and kind of discuss that, what would be best for you, title and survey. Yeah, and those are paid at closing.
Yeah, and it obviously just helps out to have an expert in any transaction that you're going through. I know a lot of times you think you may have all the information that that you could essentially feel comfortable doing a deal on your own, but hey, it doesn't waste much of anyone's energy just to come in free consultation with us, and we could strategize about your plan and see if it's a great fit for us to serve you, because at the end of the day, all we want is an opportunity to sit with you and to be able to serve you. We have a team that's ready to serve and willing and able, so please do not forget that. We have Jennifer with Cardinal Financial, and all of us here at Poteet Homes are ready to serve you. So do not hesitate for anything to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. But the whole idea about this edition today is understand the contract. The contract process is not easy. It does come with its own challenges, and we're here to make that easier for you. So we encourage you to shoot us some questions, maybe ask the questions that you may want to know. But now we're all to the point to appraisal. Okay. Well,
yeah. So appraisal, and then after that, so on the lending side, you're gonna need homeowners insurance, and so that's something. We always advise you, if you have, which most everybody does, insurance on your vehicles, call that company, bundle it with your homeowners insurance. All you have to do is provide them. They'll have your personal information already, but all you have to provide them is the address to the new home. They'll quote you. We'll actually send it to a couple or a handful of agents we have as well to quote you, get you the best deal. We do need that on the lending side.
That's right. That's a prepaid, they say too, right? Like, or no?
Yeah, so we do pay it at closing, but we need the quote.
Makes sense.
Because we're going to allocate that in your monthly payment.
Anyway.
So whatever they're quoting you annually, if it's less than what we had accounted for, then your monthly payment's going to go down.
Yeah,
so
sense.
You'll need homeowners insurance, and then it's just, it's a 30 to 45 day close process.
Yeah, it takes about a month and a couple weeks. It's really the appraisal, because though we're mentioning all of these things right now, they do have their time of when those processes began. So for example, just because we get under contract doesn't mean that the appraisals ordered right then and there. We want to go through and make sure this is a correct house.
Yes.
And then we don't want you to be spending money without a purpose, and we are honestly the experts to help you facilitate that. So now we get the appraisal. The appraisal will come in, right? We got through the inspection process. They accept it or they don't, whether we wanted repairs or not. We then move forward, make sure they have a survey.
Let's say we requested the appraisal. Hey, it's been 3 weeks. We got it in.
Yep.
Sunny, it met value.
Yep, exactly.
We're all happy. Let's close this loan. Can probably turn around and close it if documents have already been provided throughout that 3 weeks that we've been waiting. There'll be a list of documents that each buyer will need. We'll supply them with that list. The sooner they can get those back to us, we can send. So what happens is we get all your documents, we process them, and then we send it to underwriting. Underwriting reviews those documents based on the information that was input in your application, and they verify everything, So sometimes they come back and they want
provide
to
another income statement, right? Or W-2s.
Yes, it just depends. Every file is different, but they always come back with updated list of what's needed, and so we'll go back and forth throughout this time. So once you submit all your documents, I would say right now our underwriting turn time is 3 days, for them to respond. So after that, you'll receive an email from either Stacy or myself or a processing team updating you on what's left or what's needed. So let's say appraisal comes in, documents have already been submitted. We're going to send it back to underwriting for a CTC, which is a clear to close, and that's what we want to see. The underwriter will review the appraisal, your file's complete, and then we send docs to title to get this thing closed. So
and so once that's being processed, there are important steps kind of on the front end of things too, right? So if they are doing repairs, we want to go back and make sure that these repairs have been done. We also want to just kind of keep an eye on the other items, like you mentioned, that the lender's going to be needing. But it becomes pretty much seamless from there. We clear to close, and it's a really easy process if you have experts involved. That's pretty much. And
then, once your lender can pinpoint a time to close, because it's not always going to be on the contract date. We've seen that, but you want to go in with your agent, 2 to 3 days before and do a final walkthrough.
Yep.
And that's when you'll make sure that those repairs have been done. House is still in the condition you initially saw it in and wanted it in. And then that's it,
Exactly. And so if this is you that's looking for a new home, guys, reach out to us. Please don't hesitate to, want to come in for a consultation. Again, we are going to be having a new office coming soon at 9555 North State Highway 16. So that should be done about 30 days, 45 days. And, we're picking the flooring. We're picking the interior
and
colors.
We'll be open on Saturdays, half day. So we're excited to serve those clients that are working during the week that can't make it out, that don't want to travel down during the evening. We are making our Saturdays available for you.
Exactly. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. And we hope to deliver you content that's meaningful to you. And I think we've done that today, right, Jennifer? I mean,
yes, I'm excited. I think the more that our clients know and can be prepared for, the better off we are. In helping them. I'm excited to help future clients, and if we can help y'all in any way, answer any more questions, we're here, guys.
All right. Thank y'all so much for joining the Poteet Homes podcast.
But I did want to give a special shout out to the Oliva family, past clients of ours, Rodriguez family. I am wearing purple today for their daughter, Melina. We are praying for you guys, and we send our blessings to y'all.
All right, and on that note, we want to send out blessings to all those who also may be going through some things, and we know that every day brings its own challenges. So we're definitely in tune with all you guys out there. That not every day is easy, but we encourage you to just rely on your faith. We are here for you as well. Make your prayer requests be heard by just spending time alone and just requesting those things that you desire to be whether you're going through some things, you want those things to be
heard or fulfilled.
I'm just getting a little caught up on my words. So anyways, guys, we love y'all. God bless y'all, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for joining us here at the Poteet Homes podcast.
Bye, guys.